Mothers have lost their children. Children have lost their parents. Husbands have lost their wives. Wives have lost their husbands. Extrajudicial killings have become the norm in Kenya. We recently experienced River Yala. Our constitution gives us the right to life in Article 26, and it gives us equality and freedom from discrimination in Article 27. Article 29 of the Constitution of Kenya affords us the right to security of each person. But as people who come from the other side of town, tunajua vitu kwa ground hazikuangi the same. The rights that the Constitution gives us are not necessarily the rights that are accorded to us as we go by our day-to-day lives. And today I'm seated here with my friend and colleague Kimani Nyoike from Kawangware. He's here to help us get a perspective of these constitutional rights from an ordinary man's point of view. Welcome back to the Uma Action podcast. Kim, kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me. My name is Kimani Nyoike. I am an activist. I love really trying to promote the issue of justice, social justice as a whole, because I believe that people should be accorded their right to life as it is, without discrimination, without being selected who needs to get to gain more rights than the other, because I think we are born equal and we are supposed to live in a very equal society. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So let's get into this conversation, because hii right to life inaweza kwa kizungu mingi manze, msee wa mtani wa kawaida anaweza kuelewi right to life ni nini. From perspective yako, una understand right to life inamaanisha?
For me, right to life ni being able to live, not only kukua na life yako, for no one has a right to take anyone's life, kitu ya kwanza. Whether it be the police, whether it be the people, because there are two sides of it, of which both are being justified by the people. Kuna side of police killing people, and there's a side of people killing people. You know, I'm not saying that police are not people, but we are all people and need to be treated equally.
Yeah.
So for me, I understand right to life as being live and let live. You know, don't take away someone's life. Simple as that.
Nilisoma nini flani, post flani ya social media juzi. Mse alikuwa amesema, kawe ni mse umezaliwa Africa, life iko ahead of you by one step. Kama umezaliwa kwa familia yenye si ya kibombe in Africa, life iko 2 steps ahead of you. Kama umezaliwa ghetto, life expectancy yako imeshuka by 50%. Na kawe ni boy umezaliwa Africa kwa familia yenye si ya kibombe na unaishi ghetto, ikifika saa 4 ya usiku, life expectancy yako ina reduce by another 50%. Uko na experiences unaweza share na sisi zenye zimekufanya udoubt that the right to life iko respected in Kenya?
Well, I think there are many. Ni mob sana. Ukifikiria what we read in the news, the people we know, the people who've been affected. But for me, moja ina strike sana. Tumetoka kwa period ya COVID. And I remember when COVID came, the moment the restrictions were announced, the nighttime curfew, there's a friend of mine, alikuwa anaitwa Gishire. He's ever sold me a shirt. Gishire comes kulalikuwa hustle zake, yeah? Walking around in Kawangware, anaenda tu anaendelea kuuza shati zake usiku. Then he gets to a point where 7 imefika, he's not gotten home. But hakuweza kufika home. He met with police. So police here saying that he had to protect and enforce the curfew, but they end up killing the guy. So walikuwa na protect. What is what do you, that's irony of them saying they're protecting him, but they end up killing him. So for me, it strikes me that police being given that, that button to strike out someone's life and nothing happens, that is the most painful, especially for the families and the friends and everybody of us. It's
in your opinion, unadhani huko kiganjo hawa makarao wanapewanga hii constitution as part of their training?
Maybe the IG needs to tell us. Hapo mimi siko sure. I don't know what curriculum they follow, of which I think should also be made public to the people to know. Because if this the curriculum wanafunzwa, then I think it should also go through the necessary checks and balances in terms of involving the people, public participation. How do we participate in the creation of the police training manuals? Do we even know whether they follow one? Are they using the same old colonial ones? Ama kuna zingine zilikuja na hatujui.
Manze, cause unajua nilikuwa na rewatch clip ya Sabasaba ya 2020 na nilikuwa hata na Wanjera kwa the previous episode tulikuwa tunabonga hiyo story man. Na Wanjera alisimamia huyo Karawa akawaambia mimi lazima uni-explainie kwa nini unataka kunishika kwa sababu ni constitutional right. Na I think hiyo ndio kitu ilishtua huyo Karawa the most. Sidhani kwa maisha yake ashaisikia constitutional right kwa sababu ile surprise alikuwa nayo mse haikuwa kitu ordinary. So ni funny that tuko kwa situation tuna expect hawa wase wa protect hizi right zetu na wako clueless manze, they probably do not know constitution inasema nini. Kwanza Karawa kisikia umesema jina right mse ndio sasa hapo kwanza anakuweka vita mbaya ni makosa umefanya. Na on that note, if you know the Inspector General, please make sure he watches this na tuambie kama makarao wakienda training wanafundishwa about katiba. Kwa sababu it makes sense manze tuko tunauliza hapa wana respect rights zetu na they've never interacted with those rights. Na this is a very fundamental document for all cops to be aware of. Moving on swiftly. Hapo kwa right of life bado sidhani tunaweza ongea about equality and freedom from discrimination kama tumeiseparate kwa sababu tumeona hizi scenario zenye watu wenye tunatoka ghetto manze informal settlements. Tuseme tu Eastlands in general ama kama wishi estate za Kibombe tunaweza zihesabu. Runda, Kileleshwa, Kilimani, Karen, Muthaiga kama wishi huko man, unakuwa discriminated na haukui treated equally. Na constitution inatuambia hapa every person is equal before the law and has the right to equal protection and equal benefit of the law. Umebonga story ya curfew kukua enforced. Time ya COVID tuliona wale watoi wa masonko wenye mababa zao wanafanya kazi kwa serikali walipatikana nje wakilewa past curfew hours. Wakabebwa vizuri manze kama mayai wakaekwa kwa ambulance wakapelekwa package delivery kwa mzazi, tumekuletea mtoto wako amelewa na ni past curfew lakini tumekuletea. Beshta yako alimadwa, Vaita alimadwa.
Vaita.
Nao ni wase walikuwa hustle kwa sababu unatafuta do ulipe serikali tax kwa sababu hiyo serikali inashinda imekudai. Alafu inakuua after inakudai. And I'm wondering from your perspective una envision a situation yenye kila mtu anakuwa equal, treated equally na bila discrimination. Kenya ikifika hiyo level inaweza kuwa inakaje, like to build to a picture of an ideal situation where kila mtu ako treated equally whether umetoka Mathare, Kibra ama Runda.
Unajua tunaongelea about the right to life. Most of the time tukiongea about the right to life tunasahau that life does not just happen. There are things that push it to happen. So as we speak about the right to life, then we need to connect it to other rights as well. There are fundamental rights that zinakuja kusaidia the right to life to move on. So there's the right to work, there's the right to health, there's the right to all these things zenye tupatiwi that are fundamental to us. Ukiangalia poa mse anaishi Runda, basically it's very difficult. Who is the last person nishaisikia ati hustle through life ati ni mori wetu wa mtaa ametoka mtaa ameingia Runda hivyo tu
anaishi Runda siku hizi aliomoka?
Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. You see, so it's structural because the right to life is also as you mentioned, wale watu walikuwa wa masonko kutoka Runda wamekuwa kwa ambulance wametoka Kamnyweso manze. On the flip side there's someone analemewa kwa hao, he cannot breathe. Hiyo ilikuwa in the middle of COVID. Kuna mtu analemewa kwa hao, he cannot breathe, cannot access the emergency health services. Akipigia the same ambulance unaambiwa the ambulance is not there, it's around, it's been busy ferrying people from of which that's discrimination right there. Hakuna kitu kingine. So maskini hezi access the health services because the rich extend services zenye akonazo to the
So basically serikali yenye inafaa kuko ina protect hizi constitutional rights manze ndio ina violate the most basically. To move on to Article 29, and Article 29 in a talk about freedom and security of the person. So it says every person has the right to freedom and security of the person, which includes the right to not be deprived of freedom arbitrarily or without just cause, detained without trial except during a state of emergency. Na kwa sasa ningependa tukwame hapo kwa sababu juzi tumeona wasee pale Pangani wamemadwa. Constitution haijasema every person who is considered not a criminal. Haijasema every person who has never committed an offense. Haijasema every person who is righteous and clean. Haijasema every person mwenye ni msafi kama pamba after kupitia pale Capitol Hill na kupewa mosho mmoja. Imesema tu every person has the right to freedom and security. Au maboy pale Pangani yo right haikukua observed Paul. Na it's so sad. It's not the only case. Otherwise Rashid angekuwa trending topic. Hesi Wadando angekuwa trending topic. Just paint a picture for us normally mtani how that looks like, cause unaamka asubuhi auko sure ka utafika jioni. Anything inaweza happen. Unaweza kuna goona life yako normal. Na appreciate the fact that makarao wana try to curb crime. But pia huyo criminal rights zake ziko kwa hii constitution. I'm looking forward to episode tutatalk about the rights of arrested persons na due processes. Our say hawakupewa due process. We will never know kama ni ukweli walikuwa criminals, cause manze misaini kona a doubt, a very big doubt. Kama alikuwa dingo sawa, ulikuwa unajaribu kumkimbiza umshike sawa, bullet 14 zilikuwa za nini? Kwa sababu hiyo ni overkill by any measure in any part of the world. Hiyo ni overkill. So tupainte tu picture ya mtaani venye hii experience inakuanga from a day to day basis. Na especially now that tunaenda kwa election period na kuna tension na kuna hizi stories zote zenye politicians wakukuwa natuambia wanakanja ma youth manze wa protect ma territory, na umekuwa majirani na msee, but leo utapatana na mtu akwambia kaa usupport manze hii faction usipite hapa.
Wow, it's difficult to frame, lakini I'll try. Fikiria story ya Yasin Moyo, who was just standing in the balcony, in the house's balcony when he was shot. Sindio? Hiyo ni 2017. Same case, tufikiria about Baby Pendo, mailichapwa rungu na polisi, just because police walikuwa na door to door, harassing everyone, akapigwa rungu, sindio? Tutoke hapo sasa tuingie kwa hizi situations zina happen saa hii where you know it only happened that someone was recording. Na hiyo ni the same thing yenye li happen isili in 2018 where a certain so-called itangwa mafioso police ali decide, you know, I can end these two boys life on the street. You know, who made them the judge, the jury and the executioner? The constitution does not, because the constitution ina guarantee anyone, like anyone's, whether when you mwizi, whether umeshikukiiba, whether you have the right protected by this constitution, that those people have no right to kuchukua life yako. If your example ya Pangani juzi, simple, the video captures them very well. The person is subdued akokwa lami, you know. Essentially that means police yashamu arrest. You know, that guy is as good as subdued. Why should you go ahead and shoot him? Nani amempatia right? The most painful part is these people are most likely going to walk scot-free despite it being filmed, clearly captured. You know, the family has come out kusema ukijana ako mwizi. You know, why should you trust the police? Next time inaweza kuwa ni nani? It could be any one of us.
Na constitution ina guarantee that we have a right to not be subjected to any form of violence from either public or private sources. So it doesn't matter. Aufai kukwa subjected to any form of violence, but the way makarao to treat manze ni violent. And that brings me to the next point. Tushawai reform police service. Manze ama ilichangiwa tu jina from police force to police service. Kwa sababu ile training format wanatumia ni ile training format ya before independence. Now, tuko na training format yenye iliyekuwa kunyanyasa wananchi. Haikukuwa to protect. At a time when human rights hazikukuwa envisioned. Sai tuko na katiba yenye ina protect our human rights, but training ya security forces yetu haiko in tandem na hii katiba. You know, so kila siku tuko tu hapa tunaogopa hawa makarao, hawajali ni nini katiba inasema, asidhani washai hata interact na hii katiba manze, na wanatuterrorize kila siku. But then tunaeka responsibility ya could not be killed kwa vijana, especially I'm sure ushaambiwa kitu mara mingi, kwanza juu uko na dread. Ushaambiwa kitu mara mingi, umejiweka in a position where uko easily victimized. But how do you deal with a police service that does not recognize your human rights at all, other than to kuburden binadamu na iyo, you know, keep yourself safe, usipatikane nje saa ngapi, but uko na freedom ya kutembea senye unatembea. So on a day to day basis unadeal aje na easy situations to you as a person?
Oh, that's a difficult question, but I think the only way to deal with it is to deal with it the way you can, because anyone can be a victim. You remember in 2018 or 2019, Carlton Minor ametoka university abroad, amekuja Kenya, amekutana na makarao on the wrong side of the quote unquote law, because it's as if they operate from a different law than what we have, not within the Police Service Act, not within the Constitution. Like the sheer fact that they are led to deal vilonataka with young people, especially in Kenya. Being a young person is you're already endangered.
Death sentence, manze.
Death sentence.
One of 1,000 ways to die in Kenya ni kukua youth.
Ni kukua youth. And when they get to you, ina depend what position you mujipata now. Are they asking for money? Yes, most of the time. Ebu angalia, every Friday walk, take a spot check kwa kila police station across the country, and uangalie ni kina nani wako hapo ndani na the reason why ameshikwa. Flimsy reasons. Most of them are going to be released before Sunday, and most of them are going to part with some money. Na hizo ni orders from above, you know, the people who control the stations, OCS.
Huyu above anakuanga nani?
Who's the above?
Who's the above?
And always is going to be young people. They are not criminals. Wamepatikana wakitembea, saa 5 kijana unakwenda wapi? Anashikwa, anaekwa ndani.
Alafu anaita best yake, "Ko bro, kuja wana hii mjinga."
Pigia mtu yenyu akuja kutoe. It's money. You know, it's extortion every Friday. So sometimes, unfortunately, some young people get entangled. Wengine si upatiwa na guns na polisi. So when a deal goes wrong, the police is going to go do what? We have to eliminate this guy. You know, dead men tell no tales.
Very true, because we'll now never know the other side of the story of the 2 guys who were killed just the other day. We will never know the other side of the story of the bodies that were found in Rivayala, and it's very sad. Thank you so much, Kim, for coming to the Uma Action podcast. This has been a great conversation. We hope to see you again here. The Constitution guarantees us rights that are not a favor from anybody or from the state. Inspector General Hilary Mutyambai needs to answer as to why 2 young men lost their lives in a very funny way. It is hypocritical for the police service to say that they are maintaining law and order, curbing crime, yet we as a nation lose 2 billion shillings every day, according to our president. You are okay with taking human lives of young people who apparently are the future of the country, but corrupt elderly people is where you draw the line. Guys, Inspector General, your son is suspected of killing someone in a car accident. Deal with it before you deal with people from informal settlements who have done no wrong and are maybe or maybe not innocent Kenyans trying to earn a living so that they can pay the high taxes imposed on them and yet to take away their lives. It makes no sense. Kill the hypocrisy, man. Thank you for hanging out with us today, guys. And we will see you on the next episode of the Uma Action podcast. A special thanks to Article 19 for supporting this project and to Kofisi Africa Centers for providing this beautiful venue. Bye.